up, guys? It's Holly, and can we just take a moment to look at my shirt? This is not a coincidence. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory. When I was 8, I fell in love with a calendar. My sister had it, and it had 12 gorgeous, stunning pictures of Santorini. I told myself as an 8-year-old, I will go there one day. This is happening. I cannot let this one slide. Let's fast forward about 15 years. I was in college and I was at my favorite store at the time, Urban Outfitters, and I saw this shirt and I thought, you know what, Holly, you need to buy that so that you can keep it at the forefront of your mind. And I've never been like a vision board person, but I guess I subscribe to that belief to a certain extent without even knowing it, because yes, I wanted to remind myself, Santorini is something that needs to happen, don't lose sight of it. And so whenever I'd wear the shirt, it would be on my mind, trust me, and whenever I'd wash my clothes, I was aware that Santorini was in the back of my mind and it had to happen one day. Well, as you can imagine where this is going, finally that day has come. In a few days, my husband and I are taking off for our honeymoon, I would say. It's a little bit late, but better late than never, right? We're finally going on that Europe trip that everyone dreams about, or maybe not everyone, but we certainly have for a long time. So yes, I wanted to share the great news with you guys, but most of all, I wanted to give you something that you could take advantage of and apply in your life and use to make your own adventures happen in the best way possible. So I thought I would share all of the apps and websites that we found extremely useful during the planning process. Are you guys ready to get this started? The first tool I'm going to recommend is called Google Flights, and most of you have probably heard of it. What I really like about Google Flights is that it's useful during the brainstorming time, when you're not sure where you want to go, but maybe you know exactly what days you have off, or maybe it's vice versa. You know you want to go to Aruba, but you're not sure when. That's exactly what we did a couple years ago. We discovered that flights to Aruba in April were extremely cheap, and so we hadn't really considered Aruba per se, but we also knew that it was a beautiful exotic beach, and we were like, why not? Obviously that's right up our alley. And we found incredibly affordable tickets during a great time of year when there's sun and it's not too incredibly touristy. It was perfect. So you can navigate around by just clicking on the map and see during a certain time period, ooh, how much would it cost to go to Istanbul or Manila? Or vice versa. You can say, I really want to go to Honolulu. How much would it cost to go in April versus October? Super helpful tool, again, for planning when you're not quite sure where you're going or when you're gonna go. Next, I'm gonna recommend the app called Hopper. It's got a little bunny hopping around on it. And basically what this app does is it takes into account the fact that prices fluctuate and when you buy a ticket does matter. I know that a lot of sites, when you go in to buy a ticket, they'll try to pressure you by saying, ooh, this deal won't last long, or last flight left. And you end up buying something that's gonna eventually go down. Well, what Hopper does is it has all these algorithms and it knows the patterns, and it basically will tell you, hey, right now trips to Indianapolis are costing $800. If you wait 2 months, it should go down at least $150. And then the cool thing is it will actually send you an alert when it's time to buy. I've saved hundreds of dollars by using Hopper and by being patient. You cannot stress out and think, oh my goodness, I haven't bought my ticket yet and it's coming up in 2 months. It's okay. Airlines play with supply and demand. They know that a lot of people are responsible and they're buying 3 months in advance, so that's when they're gonna have the ticket prices a lot higher, 3 months before the actual date. Maybe 2 months or 1 month before, it's gonna go down. Not always, that's why we have Hopper. Actually, Hopper is what helped us find our first ticket from Houston to Athens. I had seen it for like $900 and all of a sudden I got a notification saying that it was around $630 and I was like, holla, let's do this. And here's a gratuitous tip for you guys. If you want to go to a place like Santorini, don't just go and search flights to Santorini. They're going to be up the wall. What I found was $1,500 and it obviously stopped off in Athens. But what I ended up finding is way better, and you guys are gonna find out why. The next website I'm gonna recommend is called Kiwi.com. Now, this was a godsend. I was looking for multiple one-way flights within Europe, and what Kiwi.com allowed me to do was to look at a calendar and say, okay, if I'm trying to fly from Athens to Santorini on, this Sunday, it's gonna cost $75 for that one-way flight. If I go on Monday, it's gonna be $85. Okay, let's do Sunday. Then how about Santorini to Paris? Ooh, that one-way flight is gonna cost $100 on Thursday, but if I go on Wednesday, it's gonna be only $72. Okay, let's do Wednesday. And that's how we piece together our itinerary, and we're stopping in Santorini, Paris, Rome, and Athens. And guess how much money I paid for all of those one-way trips within Europe? $330. Can you believe it? So instead of paying $1,500 to go to Santorini, we're paying less than $1,000 per person to go to Athens, Santorini, Paris, Rome, and back to Athens and back to Houston. Yes! Kiwi.com. Now I will say, we're arriving at some really weird times, sometimes around 11 p.m., sometimes like 7 a.m., but you know what? It's all worth it and it's all gonna add to the adventure. The next application I'm gonna recommend is Airbnb, and I'm pretty sure, again, most of you guys have heard of Airbnb. What I love about it is that it connects regular people who share a passion for travel. Most people that host on Airbnb love traveling, love the city they're in, and they'll go above and beyond for you. My recommendation for using Airbnb would basically be to find a few homes that fit within your parameters, that are affordable in a nice neighborhood in the city that you're going to visit. Then shoot out a few messages to the hosts, introduce yourself, tell them how excited you are to, go visit their city, and see how they respond to you. If they're very robotic and it seems automated, you might not want to stay with them. If it's someone that really seems like they took the time to write you back and they're excited about having you and they're going above and beyond, telling you about how they could pick you up from the airport, things like this, definitely that's your person. That's how we chose our host in Rome. He's going to pick us up at the airport at 11 p.m. We're going to avoid all of the metro mess and trying to find a taxi and paying up the wall and, all of that inconvenience. It'll just be really nice to arrive in Rome, run into the person that we need to run into, and then have him take us straight to our destination with no questions asked. He also said he's gonna get us tickets to the Vatican, I think he said, where we don't have to wait in line and they're less expensive than what your average Joe pays. So we're really excited about that. That's the cool thing about Airbnb. It's humans connecting with humans through technology. Next app I want to recommend to you guys, I only discovered this last week and I think it's awesome. It's called Google Trips. I know, everything's Google, right? Basically, you download this app and then you're going to link it to your email, and if you're one of those responsible people that gets all of your itineraries sent to the same email, then good on ya. But check this out, it's gonna scan all of your emails and find anything travel related, any reservations for plane tickets, or maybe for a hotel or a rental car, and it's gonna put them all in one convenient place. So you can go in here and say, oh, there are my trips. Trip to Santorini, what is it picking up here? Let's go to reservations. Oh, it knows where I'm staying. You can click on that and see details. You can also click things to do and it'll tell you, oh, in Santorini, you don't want to miss the Caldera. It has a 5-star review. Or the Red Beach, or the Santo Wines Winery. I mean, they have all kinds of information about every single destination. You can save different places that interest you, and you can even make it available offline so that when you're traveling in another country, you don't necessarily have to have your cell phone service switched on. Incredibly convenient being able to access your flight reservations from one hub. I love it. The next website I want to recommend is called utrip.com, and it's an incredible place to get inspired for your trip. So, for example, we're going to several very popular cities, including Paris. So if I go on here and write Paris, they have a whole wealth of information gathered for me. They have featured trips, they have must-see, adventures, art, cuisine, culture, dining, entertainment, events, history, landmarks, museums, nature, nightlife. I mean, the list goes on. Depending on what you're interested in and how much time you have, they can really help you craft a great itinerary, or if you don't want it to be too structured, you can at least get inspiration on what to see, where to go, and when. The last website I want to recommend is called viable.com. Viable, not viable. And basically, it is a place where you can discover unique experiences offered by local insiders. So the cool thing about this is it's very Airbnb-like, but like next level. You've got people who love the city they live in, know a lot about it, and want to share those insights with people who are visiting. How cool is that, right? So for example, we have a scout for street art in the city of San Francisco where you walk around and just check out beautiful graffiti. Or this Paris photography walking tour where you get to hang out with a professional photographer and walk all around Paris and see all of the different landmarks from super awesome angles with his artistic eye and his input. I mean, how cool is that? Or what about learning to eat like a local in Paris? Who wouldn't want to eat like a local? Ugh, I just love technology helping us meet people we would never have met otherwise. It's so awesome. I mean, if any of you live in a city that you really love and would like to show off, I'm sure you could sign up here and be like, oh, these are all the places you can do gymnastics in Miami. So yeah, needless to say, I'm pretty excited about that site, and I'm gonna click around and see if there's any tours that we wanna take anyone's offer up on. Anyway, that's the end of my list. By the time you guys watch this video, I will be far, far away. Thank you guys for joining me, and if you want to follow my adventures on my social networks, I will link them all here. I probably won't be uploading too much, but you know, I'll share the occasional picture because I just won't be able to resist. I've been dreaming about this for months. All right, gotta go pack. Bye, guys.
Now I'm gonna tell my mama that I'm a traveler. I'm gonna follow the sun.
What you're excited about seeing. The next